You know, we talked earlier about getting spinners down because they don't weigh anything with snap weights or inline weights or bottom bounce or some way to get some weight down there. Another way that's really underutilized and underlooked by a lot of fishermen because they think it's hard to deal with, but it's really simple and really gives you a lot of flexibility to the presentation. It's called Leadcore line, and all it is a nylon sheath of line, nylon or a Dacron sheath with lead inside it, so it's a Leadcore line. Actually has lead, that's what makes it sink. It changes colors every 30 feet, 10 yards, so you can tell how much color. You'll hear a lot of guys refer to, yeah, I'm fishing with 2 colors or 3 colors of lead. What I like to do though is use it on a big line counter. You got to use a pretty good size, salmon sized line counter because the lead is fairly thick, so it takes up a lot of room. But what it allows you to do is get a spinner or a small spoon. We'll talk about in the crankbait video, but we're dealing with spinners right now. Lets you get a spinner down to a certain depth. And the nice thing is, because it's so spread out and doesn't weigh a lot, you can get a lot of line out away from the boat or a lot of line behind a planer board, and the way the weight is not concentrated in one place, like a snap weight or an inline weight or a bottom bouncer, it gives a lot softer, more subtle action to the spinner. It's real simple. How I do this is I run about a 20 to 30 foot leader of monofilament or fire line. Monofilament unless I'm fishing with real conditions that are really weedy. If I'm fishing weeds right close to the bottom, I'll use a fire line leader so I can see that no stretch, so I can see that little weed get on the spinner. But in open water like this, I use a mono leader. We're running about 30 feet right now. I let the leader out, I get the Leadcore out the tip of the rod, and I zero my line counter. Now Leadcore doesn't weigh a whole bunch, it doesn't have a lot of resistance in the water, so you got to kind of help it go out. And I want this spinner to run down about 8 feet. And a rule that you can kind of live by, at about a mile to a mile and a half an hour, each color of Leadcore, so each 30 feet of Leadcore, every time it changes color, each color in the water at 1 to 1.5 miles an hour is going to go about 5 feet deep. So I want this to run back there about 7-8 feet. So I'm going to let back a color and a half. So I'm going to put about 45 feet on my counter. So as I let it out, I'm kind of helping it go out. I'm going to let it get out to 45 feet. And what I usually do with Leadcore when I first start is I let it out, and what I grab it, big fish. I let it out, and what I do is I just stick it in the rod holder. Put my Leadcore out the amount of feet I want. Remember, one color at a mile an hour. So 30 feet of lead is going to be about 5 feet at a mile to a mile and a half an hour, so you can control the depth. So I'm on this back about 40 feet to get it down about 7 feet. I'm going to stick it in the rod holder. Now what I can do, what makes lead really cool, is as I see fish drop or see fish rise on my graph, I don't have to bring the board in and change the weight. I can simply reel in or let more Leadcore out. Once I get it to where it's at, I've got the counter, I can let that same amount of Leadcore out again, kind of think about where the depth is with that amount of Leadcore out, then start changing my snap weights and my inline weights. But this way I can move up and down the water column very easy. We show you how to do it with spinners. We can show you later in the next video on how to do it with crankbaits or small spoons. Really efficient way to fish. Buy 27-pound Leadcore, put it on a big salmon reel, preferably with a counter, put about a 30-foot mono leader on it, and go fishing. We'll show you a little bit later how to tie that leader to the Leadcore. Really simple. Don't be intimidated by it.